Okay, what Rufai is trying to explain to you in the literature is called religious syncretism. And it is represented by the African church in Nigeria, where they mix one form of Christianity with another form of religion and belief in God, which has been well explained in the literature. But let me come from a dramaturgical point of view. When we teach students dramaturgy, we talk about flaw of character as a major trope in tragic stories. It's called either amasia or hubris. I think what we're dealing with regard to Nyesom Wike is hubris. Hubris, which relates to his own character. Now, let me start with Rotimi Amaechi. He says Rotimi Amaechi is hungry for power. He could not deliver 10% for Atiku in the 2023 election. He could not address hunger while he was a minister or while he was a governor. Now, there's a basic principle in human relationships about your relationship with your bosses. I think that Nyesom Wike is very rude, disrespectful, because Rotimi Amaechi is his boss in politics. When he was local government chairman, or was he councillor, during Amaechi's second term, it was Rotimi Amaechi that helped him to become local government chairman at Obio Akpo local government area. He subsequently became chief of staff to Rotimi Amaechi. It was Rotimi Amaechi that recommended him to become a Minister of State for Education in Abuja. So he talks this carelessly about his former boss. I think it's disrespectful. I think he speaks to his character. Number two, this same Nyesom Wike still talking about this hubris. The theory is this, people can double check it. You know, has also abused Peter Odili, Sir Peter Odili, another statesman. He has said publicly that Peter Odili does not qualify to be an elder. This is the same man that he was taken to by Mama Peace, Dr. Patience Jonathan, to help him to become governor. There is no name he has not called Dr. Peter Odili and his wife. He even referred to him as one man and his wife as one woman. This is a statement about character. This same Nyesom Wike says he's fighting for President Jonathan, and that there's nobody in PDP that can stop him, not even Chief Olabode George, whom we refer to as a ground rent debtor. So who will Nyesom Wike not insult? Senator John Mbata, who was his godfather at a point, he insulted him too. And he has shown signal that he's also going to insult President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In that interview, he pointed out that if he had known that President Tinubu was going to declare a state of emergency in Rivers, he would have offered a different kind of advice. That's already a signal to President Tinubu to know that this man you are dealing with is only interested in his own interests, permanent interests, not permanent friends. And so President Tinubu should beware, because tomorrow he will abuse this same President Tinubu. He says nobody can touch him in PDP. Okay, what does that mean? He is saying that yes, it's possible for a man to be everywhere as long as his personal interest is involved. So these are the questions to be raised about the hubris of Nyesom Wike. I think that is the major issue. That is the story. That is the story. Now, as for foreign direct investment, Shola Enikan Olaye, that's the correct pronunciation. Ambassador Shola Enikan Olaye. Yeah, I worked with him when I was in government. He was then in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as Ambassador Institute. He's a very decent man. He is saying that President Tinubu has attracted investments worth about $50 billion to Nigeria. Well, it's right on that score. I always say that the president is the chief foreign policy officer. I don't criticize any president for traveling and all that. And we have seen under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a commitment to the promotion of Nigeria, a repositioning of Nigeria on the global stage after a period of 8 years hiatus and inaction by the Nigerian government. So the only problem here is that all those promises, either from Afrexim Bank or Indorama or Coca-Cola or the trips all over the world, 36 trips since May 29, 2023. What the president and the government needs to be told is that, look, yes, FDI can come in, but most of those FDIs, they are promises. They are expressions of intention. The Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the presidency will have to follow up on those promises. And that's where our foreign policy process has a problem. Nigeria does not always follow through. We don't have enough competence to know that when people express an intention, you have to follow up. The second point in that regard is that, look, the biggest challenge for this administration and for the president personally is to encourage local investment. It's not about foreign direct investment, most of them portfolio investments. It's to support companies like Dangote Refinery, Seplat, which other person is doing something here, Bua Cement Group, all these local companies, you know, they should be encouraged to invest more. Even the banks, Fidelity, UBA, Union Bank, you know, these are the people, because it's only Nigerians that can move this country forward if they are given the enabling environment and they get the required support from government. So while it is good on the foreign side to say, yes, President Tinubu has repositioned Nigeria globally, has helped Nigeria to gain a voice in critical areas, President Tinubu also has a commitment to support local investment and make sure that local entrepreneurs, the private sector, that they thrive. Those are the issues in my view. As for what was that other story you brought up about the ports and all that? Well, of course, you know, we've been on that issue perennially. You know, Nigerian Ports Authority is always having issues, but call-up trucks and all that. They've tried all kinds of ideas, creating problems for people who live in their Papa area as a result of government inaction, as a result of the failure of successive administrations, you know, to solve a problem. And we have been saying, look, this port system in Nigeria, we can overhaul it. We can expand it. We have other ports whose drafts need to be further dredged and deepened so that the concentration is not just in Apapa, but nobody has done it. Maybe that's another assignment for President Tinubu, as he uses this period of visit to Lagos to reflect on the challenges at second term. And I go back to the Wike issue. President Tinubu needs friends. He doesn't need enemies in second term as he moves towards the remaining 2 years of his first term. Wike should stop making enemies for him. President Tinubu should focus on making enemies, because Wike is a disclosed agent of a disclosed principal. Anything he says, antagonizing people either in Abuja or in Rivers, he will be making enemies for President Tinubu. That's not the job of an agent of a disclosed principal.